Hello, and welcome back to the dining room. And sad to say, yes, it is lenses today, but it's not normal. It's different, which of course means there's a long story. So, if you just want to see me unbox and set up and talk about the Sony 10 to 18 millimeter f4 lens that's for APS-C cameras, but I'm not going to use it on an APS-C camera. I'm going to use it on my Sony a7C, a full frame camera. So there's going to be a bit of a story. So if you just want to see the lens, skip to the next chapter. Actually, the next chapter will be, there's a little bundle came with it for reasons that will be explained. So the next chapter will be the little bundle. Then the chapter after that will be unboxing this lens. And then the chapter after that will be testing this lens on the A7C, this guy over here. It's kind of an interesting story. Well, here, let me get into it. A while back, I was, well, y'all remember from the channel that I have been on a quest to find the perfect vlogging lens with the narrowest focal distance. For full frame, I'm down to, I have a 17 millimeter is my best focal distance. That's on a zoom lens, the 17 to 35. And then I have a 20 millimeter fixed lens. Now on the APS-C system, I have a Tamron 11 to 20 lens. And our old friend, Mark Bennett from Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis, whose channel will be linked down below, he specifically said and told me in his videos, if you buy the Tamron 11 to 20, that you have zero reason to buy the Sony 10 to 18. Well, then why did I buy it? Let me explain. I saw a video on YouTube, and it was a guy testing out using this lens on a full frame camera, because it turns out, and by the way, his video will be linked down below, but the other video that will be linked down below is Matt Hapoja's video, because Matty is the guy who discovered that while it's 10 to 18, if you just zoom into about 12 millimeters if you put it on a full frame camera, and at 10 millimeters, there's going to be, black bars, black around the edges, because it's not meant for a full frame. But if you zoom into about 12 millimeters, that goes away. And so you can actually get about a 12 millimeter. So instead of a 17 millimeter, which is the best I can get on this lens, I can get 12 possibly with this lens. Now, the APS-C lenses have a long and storied history, but the most recent thing that's happened, and you probably know this if you're watching this video because you saw that I was doing this lens, you would say, well, wait a minute. Didn't Sony just come out with 3 new APS-C lenses, a 10 millimeter, a zoom, an 18? Yes, they just came out with 3 different lenses, APS-C lenses, all of which then, between the 3 of those, they really get rid of the need for this lens. So there's no reason for this lens to exist anymore as an APS-C lens. But what about as a full frame lens? And that's what we're here to talk about today. So I bought this to put it onto the A7C to see if I can get away with a 12 millimeter focal distance instead of the 17, which is the best I can do right now with the lenses and cameras I have. On a APS-C camera, 10 to 18 is actually 15 to 27 full frame equivalent. But this is, I can go, instead of 15, I can get 12 possibly. We're going to see, because that's what we're going to do in this video, is I'm going to test this. Okay, now first, I'm going to show you, because of these 3 new lenses that Sony just brought out for APS-C cameras, this lens, at least at B&H Photo, has had a $200 price drop. Well, it did when I bought it. Again, I can't promise what prices will be now, but it was $200 less. Not only that, if you bought like a $10 UV filter, then they'd throw in an additional cleaning kit. So let's look at this little bundle. So basically, for like an extra $10, if you buy this UV filter, which is a 62 millimeter, which, by the way, I think fits this lens, so how convenient. Then they also then throw in another cleaning kit, which includes cleaning fluid, an air blower, you know, all your usual stuff. Well, here, I'll show you. It's in a nice little box, a little carrying case. And you've got the cleaning fluid, you've got the little blower, you've got the little brush. Which, by the way, it would have been nice if I had had this with me when I went to Buc-ee's. I don't know if you watched the Buc-ee's video, but some dust got onto my lens. After all my talk about how you need to keep your lenses clean, I had a dirty lens. And then there's also a cleaning cloth, another little pen brush. So for an extra $10, you get the UV filter and this little kit, which isn't bad. Okay, but now let's get to what we came here to talk about, which is the 10 to 18 millimeter f4 lens. So as always, we have our little booklets on top, which no one ever looks at. I've never looked at them. And then, okay, so not just a cardboard packaging, and then we got your bubble wrap. Has a lens hood, which will fit right over here. So now I am going to put this APS-C lens onto this A7C full frame camera. So I believe it would be best if I stopped recording to do this. I have it set so I can hot swap lenses, but probably not the best thing. So we are putting the 10 to 18. Okay.
1 week later.
And that is when this video shoot went off the rails. The very next shot that we're supposed to be watching right now was supposed to be this. This is the Sony 10 to 18 millimeter f4 lens on APS-C lens on the full frame A7C. Now, if you recall, the A7C was actually sitting over here, which was a different issue. But by the way, it didn't look like well, I'm looking on the screen. It did not look like this. It was much closer in because Mr. Idiot had forgotten that APS-C crop mode, which automatically goes on Sony cameras by default, unless you turn it off. I had turned it off on the A7 IV, but I had not turned it off on the A7C. Oops. So it was cropped in. So it didn't, so see, by the way, this is 17 on the A7 IV. This is 10 millimeters on the A7C. So you can see the huge difference. Well, the difference wasn't so huge because, again, cropped, it's like 15 versus 17. But, and here was the thing that confusticated me, I still had some black stuff around the edges. Now, if it's cropped in, that shouldn't be there. It is if you're stupid enough to put a lens hood on a super wide angle lens. I don't even know why Sony includes a lens hood. I guess if you're using it at 18 millimeters and you've got sun issues, maybe. But if you're going down to 10 and 12, you can't have a lens hood because it'll be in the picture. So, anyway. Oh, by the way, and the reason I switched the locations is with this guy over in this location, as you can see with these wide angle lenses, you can see all the way down to the end of the table here, which you can on this one too, but this one's at an angle, so it should pick. When this one was over here, you could see into the kitchen. I mean, it was, it was really way too wide angle. So I had to switch them. So that's why I heard. Now, let's get back to what we were trying to figure out here is, can we use this lens, the 10 to 18 millimeter APS-C lens on a full frame camera for vlogging? Which, by the way, both Maddie Haposia and the other guy, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but it was weeks ago. His video will be linked down below because his was the one I saw first. And then he mentioned Maddie's and I went and watched Maddie's. Anyway, but Maddie says go down to 12. There we go. So now we pulled into 12. Now, there's just a hint in the corners here. But, as I believe I explained in the earlier part of the video, and if not, let me explain it again. I'm going to use Catalyst Browse. And by the way, that was at least 5 of the vlog walks were ruined because of Catalyst Browse issues. The number one issue being, this is a optical steady shot lens. It's a Sony lens, so it has OSS, which means if the camera has steady shot defaulted and this lens goes on, so it comes on. Well, remember, I've been shooting with Tamron lenses on my 2 cameras, the Tamron 11 to 20 and the Tamron 17 to 28. They don't have steady shot. So steady shot is disabled, so I was able to use Catalyst Browse whenever I felt like it. Well, this lens, no. Oh, plus, then when I was using Catalyst Browse, when I finally did get that all working, I forgot to change the shutter speed, so I was still at 1/50 instead of 1/250, as our friend Mark Bennett of Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis recommends when you're using Catalyst Browse. It makes the footage much smoother. By the way, and if you saw my Bucky's video, one of the reasons that footage looks so jerky is because, again, I had the shutter at 1/50th, not at 1/250th. Oh, I know. It's just, you don't care. So let's get into this. So now we've got it at 12 millimeters. And now I'm going to do this blog walk for, I believe, the 12th time for this video. Not to mention all the other videos I did. So let me pick it up. And we'll go for a little walk. Now this is with my arm held out all the way in front of me. Well, in fact, here, that's how far out it is. Now, if I pull it back to here where my elbow's touching my side, well, then now this is how close I am. And you can see that now I'm about the same distance. My head is filling about the same amount of space as it does on like the 17 with it held out for much farther. Okay, so now we're going to walk around through the living room. I am so tired of this. You may be tired too, because I've done this in like every lens video ever. Let me turn on some lights in the kitchen so that when we come back, it's not pitch black. I also apologize for any mess you see, because this thing is so wide angle, you're going to see all sorts of stuff. And my cleaning lady is on vacation this week, so nothing's been cleaned, so there's crap everywhere. Anyway, you don't care. So now we are outside at 12 millimeters. Let me get out into the light. And this is what this thing looks like at 12 millimeters. Now, for a little bit of fun, I'm going to drop it down to 10 millimeters. And then in Catalyst Browse, I will try to cut this down even more. I'll see if I can cut it in, but I'm pretty sure most of the time, here we go, back to 12. That's my neighbor's dog. He loves it when I come out here and vlog. He has someone to bark at. Okay, it's a little overcast. We got a few drops of rain hitting me. But this is, now I'm going to switch hands. I'm getting much better at that. And of course, Catalyst Browse gets out most of the jitter. Okay. Now we will walk back in through the kitchen. And back around to where we started. Oh, I am so tired of making that walk. I cannot tell you. Let me, still haven't gotten the hang of flipping this thing open. Okay, they are roughly equidistant. I'm touching the front edge of the lens. I'm touching the front edge of the lens here. So you can see 12 and 17, it's a big difference. So I'm thinking this may be the one. Also, well here, look how small this is. This is a teeny tiny little lens. I will put the specs up on the screen. Should have done that back in the unboxing part. I'll put the specs up on the screen and I'll compare it to the Tamron 17-28 because that's the closest lens, the best lens I have for vlogging, that I had for vlogging until I got this. So, what do you think? I'm kind of impressed. I mean, it's much lighter, it's smaller, it's lighter. Again, the focal, the 10, even 12 millimeters. Again, I could go down, I thought about this. I can go down to 10 and then use Catalyst Browse to crop in like 30%. But at that point, I might as well just use the APS-C crop mode because that's 40%. And I'm giving up pixels, right? Because I'm shooting the whole sensor and then cropping out 30% of it. Whereas here at 12, when I've ratcheted it down to 12, now I'm getting the whole sensor full of picture, and then I'm going to crop in a little 10% around the edge just to get rid of these little black edges. So I think it's going to work great. Now, I have a surprise. Because during these 11 days that I have been waiting to get this done. By the way, I had to stop because school started and I had to do like 12 videos for school. Beginning of the semester, you know, all the, you don't care. I got, well, let me just show you and then we'll see. So I'm going to stop and then start back up. So
A few moments later.
this might look familiar, except this is not the 10 to 18 millimeter f4 lens. This is the new 10 to 20 millimeter PowerZoom G lens, which by the way is, well, I'll show y'all later, but it's even smaller and I'll put its spec. Now, yeah, we still got the stuff going on up here, but let's see if we zoom in a little bit. Okay, that's at 12. Not looking better. 15. There we go, 17. So this should be the same as this. This is the Tamron 17-28 at 17. And now this is the Sony 10 to 20 PowerZoom. Now, by the way, again, for vlogging, I'm probably always going to leave it at 12. Well, on that other lens. On this lens, we'll see. Yeah, this one's not going to work. But that's why I got it. By the way, I didn't buy it. Turns out, well here, let me this looks horrible. Okay, that's at we still got the. So yeah, this is not an option for what I'm trying to do here, because I'm trying to get like 12, and here even at 15, we have enough dark here in the corners that Catalyst Browse would have to crop in so far. Yeah. But it turns out, I don't know if you've ever heard of lensrentals.com, but if you're a photographer, you probably have, because it's this fabulous website where you can go like rent any lens for various lengths of time. Well, I was fooling around and I discovered that lensrentals.com is local. Like their office where they ship all the lenses from is about 5 miles from my house. So I went over and picked this up this morning so I could test it out. And the rental was like under $50 for a week. And it's like a $900 lens. So yeah, that seems like a decent, that seems reasonable. So if you're looking for one of those weird, super expensive, giant G, check out lensrentals.com. But yeah, I don't think this isn't going to work for my purposes, because again, with the other one, with the 10 to 18, again, you get to 12 and this starts going way up here in the corners, and when you get to like 14, it's gone. And here I'm on 15 and it's still there. Well, how far do I have to go to get it gone? I'm going the wrong way. 17. My hand is vanishing into blackness. 19. Yeah, this lens is worthless for the purposes we're talking about. So, never mind. I just wanted to check it out because I thought, well, it's the newer lens, it's a better lens, it's a smaller lens, it's a lighter lens. I'll put the specs up comparing it to this guy. See, here they are side by side, and you can see that the 10 to 20 is slightly smaller, and I'll put up the specs. It's probably also lighter. Now, by the way, because it's a rental lens, they apparently they have a lens protector, probably a UV filter. No, it just says protector. Evo anti-static protector, Hoya. That's it's like not removable, and they've put the lens hood on backwards, also not removable. So, but again, the lens hood is not extending out past the edge of the lens, so I don't think that's causing any of our problems. So I'm going to go back to this guy over here. Now we're back. So I'm back to 12 millimeters on the 10 to 18. And you can see, yeah, there's very slight stuff in the corner. But again, if I go up 13, little tiny bit, I think when I get to 14, yeah, it's pretty much gone. For this trick, if you're going to put a APS-C super wide angle lens onto a full frame body, it's not going to be the new 10 to 20 G lens. It's going to be this little guy. When I bought this weeks ago now, B&H Photo, it was $200 off, and it had that little bundle, a little $10 bundle. I'm pretty pleased. I think this is a reasonable purchase. This is going to be my vlogging setup because the lens is so much smaller than these guys, the Tamron lenses. Well, I can't even use, again, I have to use a 17. I'll never get anywhere close to 12, or I think, what we're on, 14 now, I believe. That is the Sony 10 to 18 millimeter f4 OSS lens, which screwed me up for a while. And the vlog walk we did, it was at 1/250th. Yeah, this is going to be my vlogging setup at 12. So that's the story from here. Oh my God, I can't believe I've actually finished shooting this video. Well, I'm assuming that when I get the footage into the computer and into DaVinci Resolve, I actually have usable footage, and that Catalyst Browse works and all the. So maybe you'll see. Well, you won't have seen the first one if it was no good. Oh, and just for your edification, I have the B10 microphone on the A7C since that's the smaller, lighter. It's not. It's like few grams lighter, but it's lighter than the B1M. So it really makes it the smallest vlogging full frame setup that I could do, with a tiny lens, a fairly tiny microphone, a tiny camera body. I am pretty pleased. So that's it. 10 to 20 millimeter G lens? No. 10 to 18 millimeter lens? Yes. Like it a lot. So thanks, Maddie Hapuja, whose video will be linked down below, because he's apparently one of the people that got all this started. There were some other people also, I think, that did this around the same time, but he's the one everybody knows, and he's the one everybody else's videos refer to, and I like Maddie. Even though, by the way, he was involved in the podcast where Peter McKinnon said he hated people like me, but because it was their podcast. Anyway, that's it for this week. Come back next week for more stuff. I have no idea what, but I'll be back. I'm back every week. Bye-bye.